Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, May 26th, 2020 Blue Springs Planning Commission meeting being held via video conference to order. And if you'd like to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, good evening and welcome everyone. At this time, I'd like to ask Karen Findora, the Commission Liaison, to call roll.
Okay, thank you, sir. Planning Commissioner Casey.
Planning Commissioner Casey, present.
Commissioner Banks.
Planning Commissioner Lynn Banks, present.
Commissioner Billups.
Planning Commissioner Ken Billups, present.
Commissioner Peel.
Commissioner Mitchell Peel, present.
Commissioner Sanderson.
Commissioner Chad Sanderson, present.
Commissioner Stokenberry.
Commissioner Susan Stokenberry, present.
Commissioner Hose.
Commissioner Ashley Hose, present.
Commissioner Fairbanks.
Commissioner Jackie Fairbanks, present.
Commissioner Veal. Commissioner Cradoff. Okay. And Chair Graham.
Chairman Travis Graham, present.
All right, Chair, at this time, everyone is present except for Planning Commissioner Lakeisha Veal and Planning Commissioner Byron Cradoff. Also present is Mayor Pro Tem Ron Fowler, Mike Mallon, Acting Director, Community Development, Matt Wright, Acting Assistant Director, Community Development, Adam Hilgedick, City Engineer, Jackie Summer, City Attorney, and Jim Leacock, our Public Stenographer.
All right, thank you, Ms. Findora. We will have a public hearing this evening, so I'm going to read through the procedures. I will open the public hearing, call for exhibits from the City Attorney. Staff will make comments. The applicant will be given the opportunity to make a presentation. We'll ask for witnesses in favor, witnesses opposed, discussion among the commissioners, and then I'll close the public hearing and we will consider the facts and approve or deny the request, and then a recommendation will be forwarded to the City Council for their June 1st meeting for review and their action. Tonight's agenda consists of the consent agenda. A public hearing for Unified Development Code text amendment is item 2. Item 3 is a public hearing for vacation for RGH development, red development. Item 4 is site plan design review with alternative development standards for RGH red development. Item 5 is other business, and item 6 is adjournment. RGH Development has asked for a continuance to the Monday, June 8th Planning Commission meeting, which would be items 3 and 4. So I would entertain a motion for that continuance. Do I have a motion to continue?
Yes, sir. At this time, I'd like to recognize Planning Commissioner Lynn Banks.
Commissioner Banks.
Thank you, Chairman Graham. I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing vacation for RGH redevelopment and also the site plan design review for the alternative development, also for RGH. The applicant is requested to be continued to Monday, June the 8th, 2020.
All right, I have a motion. Could I get a second, please?
And yes, I'd like to recognize Jackie Fairbanks.
Commissioner Fairbanks.
I'd like to second that motion.
All right, I have a motion and a second to continue items 3 and 4. This will be a roll call vote.
Planning Commissioner Banks.
Commissioner Banks, aye.
Commissioner Billups.
Commissioner Ken Billups, aye.
Commissioner Peel.
Commissioner Mitchell Peel, aye.
Commissioner Sanderson,
Commissioner Chad Sanderson, aye.
Commissioner Stokenberry,
Commissioner Susan Stokenberry, aye.
Commissioner Hose,
Commissioner Ashley Hose, aye.
Commissioner Fairbanks,
Commissioner Jackie Fairbanks, aye.
Commissioner Casey,
Commissioner Casey, aye.
and Chair Graham.
Chairman Graham, aye.
Okay, that motion is carried unanimously.
All right. That gets us back into the agenda. Our first item on the agenda is the consent agenda, which consists of the meeting minutes for May 11th, 2020, and a final plat for Calamar with 3 staff conditions. I would entertain a motion for approval.
Okay, at this time, I would like to recognize Commissioner Phillips.
Commissioner Billups?
Yes, this is Commissioner Ken Billups. I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right. I have a motion. Could I get a second?
I'd like to recognize Commissioner Banks.
This is Commissioner Banks. I'll second that motion.
All right, I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda consisting of the minutes and final plat for Calamar with 3 staff conditions. This will be a roll call vote.
Okay, Planning Commissioner Peel,
Commissioner Mitchell Peel, aye.
Commissioner Sanderson,
Commissioner Chad Sanderson, aye.
Commissioner Stokenberry,
Commissioner Susan Stokenberry, aye.
Commissioner Hose,
Commissioner Ashley Hose, aye.
Commissioner Fairbanks,
Commissioner Jackie Fairbanks, aye.
Commissioner Casey,
Commissioner Scott Casey, aye.
Commissioner Banks,
Commissioner Lynn Banks, aye.
Commissioner Billups,
Commissioner Ken Billups, aye.
and Chair Graham.
Chairman Graham, aye.
That motion is carried unanimously.
All right. Thank you very much. And that will send the final plat for Calamar to the June 1st City Council meeting at 6 o'clock. Next item on the agenda is public hearing for the UDC text amendment amending the fencing. I will open the public hearing and ask for exhibits from our city attorney, Jackie Summer.
Chairman Graham, I offer the following exhibits into the record. Exhibit 1, staff report with attachments. 2, application with attachments. 3, affidavit of publication in the Examiner on March 7 and May 9, 2020. 4, Title IV Land Use Section, Blue Springs Code of Ordinances by reference. 5, 2014 Comprehensive Plan by reference. And 6, Development Advisory Agenda Packet.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Summer. Mike Mallon is going to make the staff presentation for us.
Thank you, Commissioner Graham. Mike Mallon, Acting Director of Community Development, and I will be making a staff presentation on this. I will attempt to share my screen right now. Hopefully that works. So please tell me if it is not working, but it looks to be working well. This is a Unified Development Code text amendment related to fence construction throughout the city. The Development Advisory Commission met to review these proposed UDC text amendments on both May 8th and May 15th of this year and recommended approval of the proposed amendments. In addition, the DAC recommended further UDC amendments to help further guide the construction of fencing by one property owner on their given property, and I will point that out here in a minute. The current UDC regulations regarding fences were adopted in kind of a 2-part situation, partially in 2015 as part of the overall UDC upgrade that the city went through, and further amended in March of 2018. The October 2015 UDC amendment removed the requirement in the code that stated that the fence or that fences cannot be constructed out of more than 2 materials. The reasoning behind this change was to allow a fence to be constructed utilizing a combination of materials such as wood, metal, and masonry. The March 2018 UDC amendment removed the requirement that the finished side of the fence, which is the side of the fence in which the pickets face outward. Previously, there was a provision in the code that said if that fence were to be constructed, that the finished side had to face outward from the property that was constructing it. In 2018, that provision was removed, which allowed the finished side or picket side to face inward towards the property unless it was facing a public right-of-way or public street. So those were the 2 provisions that had been in place previously to this proposed code amendment. Recently, there's been some discussion to, in other words, roll back those measures and to go back to where the provisions were before those code amendments. And so those discussions were had at the city council level and were directed to staff to bring forward amendments that would basically roll back those provisions. As such, staff is proposing the following proposed UDC language under 407-040-D3C2. Instead of saying all fences facing public right-of-way shall be constructed so that the finished side faces outward from the property installing the fence, staff is proposing to remove the words facing public right-of-way, and this would require that any fence that is constructed in the city in terms of like a wood privacy fence, so that the finished side or the picket side faces outward from that property, and that all of the support posts face inward towards that property. That would take care of the amendment that was done in 2018. Secondarily, under number 4, fences shall be constructed out of any of the following materials. However, no fences shall be constructed out of more than 2 of the materials below, such as wood, vinyl simulating wood, wrought iron, aluminum simulating wrought iron, stone, brick, concrete, or chain link, or the like. That would roll back the provision that was done in 2015, which stated that a fence cannot have more than 2 materials. In addition, during the Development Advisory Commission meeting, the DAC recommended that staff come up with some language and bring that forward to the Planning Commission and ultimately to the City Council to try to address the situations in which a single property, one such property is responsible for more than one of their fences on their property. And as such, that no more than 2 materials and or styles of fences may be utilized by any one property, such as chain link, wood, privacy, or wrought iron. The intent of that is that if the fence is on the property of the applicant who's wishing to install a fence, and they already have a wood privacy fence on one side of their property that they've installed, and they have 2 more property lines, say their side and other rear property line, that those 2 property line fences be restricted to being either the same material as is already installed or not being more than one other material. So the concern with that is if one property has 3 different sides of their lot lines and they want to install chain link on one side or vinyl pickets on the other and then wood pickets on the third, that the DAC wanted to be able to restrict that. And so that provision under G would restrict that ability for them to do so. So there are 3 different code amendments before you this evening regarding fencing. First and foremost is that anytime a wood privacy fence is constructed throughout the city, whether it's facing a public right-of-way or whether it's facing interior to a lot line, that the finished side or the picket side of the fence has to face outward from that property, and all the support posts need to be interior. The second being that, that a fence can't be constructed out of any more than 2 different materials, and that any fence on, or that all of the fences on any one property should be no more than 2 different styles and or materials. So those are the amendments that are before you this evening. The DAC did recommend approval of those at the May 15th meeting, and also suggested the additional language regarding how to handle multiple styles of fences within one property. So those are the amendments that are before you this evening. I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right. Are there any questions for Mr. Mallon from the commissioner?
Give him just a second. I see no questions in queue right now, Chair.
Okay, I would at this time ask if there's any witnesses that would like to speak in favor.
No one in queue, sir.
All right. Are there any witnesses who would like to speak in opposition?
And no opposition.
Okay. Any other questions from the commissioners on the record?
We have nothing in queue.
All right, thank you. At this time, I'll close the public hearing and I would entertain a motion.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to recognize Commissioner Banks.
Commissioner Banks.
Thank you, Chairman Graham. I would like to make a motion to approve the Unified Development Code Text Amendment, UDCT-03-20-7250.
All right, I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'd like to recognize Commissioner Billups.
Commissioner Billups.
This is Commissioner Ken Billups. I'll second the motion.
All right, I have a motion and a second to approve the Unified Development Code Text Amendment regarding fencing. This will be a roll call vote.
Planning Commissioner Sanderson.
Commissioner Chad Sanderson, aye.
Commissioner Stokenberry.
Commissioner Susan Stokenberry, aye.
Commissioner Hose.
Commissioner Ashley Hose, aye.
Commissioner Fairbanks.
Commissioner Jackie Fairbanks, aye.
Commissioner Casey.
Commissioner Scott Casey, aye.
Commissioner Banks.
Commissioner Lynn Banks, aye.
Commissioner Billups.
Commissioner Ken Billups, aye.
Commissioner Peel.
Commissioner Mitchell Peel, aye.
Chair Graham.
And Chairman Travis Graham, aye.
That motion is carried unanimously.
All right, and we will send that recommendation to the City Council's June 1st meeting at 6 o'clock. That completes item 2 on the agenda. If you would like to leave the meeting, please do so now. And as earlier, items 3 and 4 were continued to our June 8th meeting. So that brings us to item 5, which is other business. Mr. Mallon, do we have other business?
We have quite a lot of other business that'll be coming your way on June 8th. And so we have quite a full agenda for that evening. And so we will try to get through that as seamlessly and smoothly as possible, but just wanted to make you all aware of that. And we will have quite a few cases to bring forward to you that evening.
All right. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that has any other business to bring forward?
I see no one in queue, sir.
All right. Seeing none, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'd like to recognize Commissioner Peel.
Commissioner Peel.
Commissioner Mitchell Peel, I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Commissioner Fairbanks.
All right. I have a motion to adjourn from Commissioner Peel, seconded by Commissioner Fairbanks. This will be a roll call vote.
Planning Commissioner Stokenberry.
Commissioner Susan Stokenberry, aye.
Commissioner Hose.
Commissioner Ashley Hose, aye.
Commissioner Fairbanks.
Commissioner Jackie Fairbanks, aye.
Commissioner Casey.
Commissioner Scott Casey, aye.
Commissioner Billups.
Commissioner Ken Billups, aye.
Commissioner Banks.
Commissioner Lynn Banks, aye.
Commissioner Peel.
Commissioner Mitchell Peel, aye.
Commissioner Sanderson.
Commissioner Chad Sanderson, aye.
And Chair Graham.
Chairman Travis Graham, aye.
Motion carried unanimously.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Please hang up by clicking on the red phone icon, and good evening.